We will start with the Shanti mantra. So I will do half line, and one pada each, and then you follow. Try to follow all in the same scale, same speed, laya, so that the sound comes in unison. That is very important. Otherwise, the bhava will not be generated. Sahana vavatu.
Om Sahana vavatu.
Sahanau bhunaktu.
Sahanau bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Sahana Vavatu.
Om Sahana vavatu.
Sahanau bhunaktu.
Sahanau bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Generally we chant this, which is the Shanti mantra for Katha Upanishad and some other Upanishads also, for a particular Veda, because it has something to do with, we call it class, but it is actually a communication that takes place through any Upanishadic Swadhyaya or Pravachana. Sahanau avatu means may we too, that means the student and the teacher, both. These are all dvivachana, now. Sahanau avatu, sahana avatu means may we too be protected. Sahanau bhunaktu. Bhunaktu has come from bhoga, that bhuj, from nourishment. May we too be nourished. May we too means the teacher and the student be protected. May we too be nourished. Sahaviryam karavavahi. Whatever we do, may we do with full courage. Why? You think about yourself. We don't do anything with courage. We do half-hearted manner. Many things, whatever we do. Whatever we do, when we do it from the inmost level, with full willpower and courage, then the work becomes worthwhile. Tejasvi now adhitamastu. Whatever we are studying, may it become Tejasvi. Now, this whole spiritual subject is dealing with what? It is not for any objective study. It is dealing with our own identity, our own Atma, which we really are. So, When will this knowledge be effective? When it will become true of us. So this is a knowledge for living. It is not a knowledge for theoretically mastering or giving lecture or writing a book. By that nothing will be done. The whole knowledge is meant for it to be used as a tool to transform ourselves. So when we live the knowledge, then only it becomes powerful. If we say that there is lot of power in acceptance, it is the highest power, acceptance. Unless you apply it in your life, you will never know. But you apply it even once, you will know the power. That immediately the mind will become peaceful, and a peaceful mind will have the greatest efficiency in doing anything. So the power of acceptance will be known by applying acceptance. So whenever we live the knowledge, it becomes powerful. Tejasvi now adhitamastu. Whatever we are studying, may it become Tejasvi. Ma vidvishavahai. May we not have any vidvesha bhava, that is any intolerance, hatred towards anybody. It might be between teacher and the student. Generally I have been explaining like that is also extremely important. But it can be in general also, because if the mind is haunted by vidvesha bhava, then it will not be able to actualize the universality that our Upanishads are teaching. Yatra Vishwam Bhavati Eka Needam. Yatra Vishwam means all. Bhavati Eka Needam, like a bird's nest. The whole universe becomes one, like a bird's nest. So everywhere it is talking about the universality, anywhere, even Vedas also, they are talking about universality. So if vidvesha bhava is there, if intolerance and hatred is there, competition is there, selfishness is there, then this will not dawn in our mind. So it is very important to get rid of raga dvesha. Actually vidvesha bhava is the other side of our clinging to what I like and hating what I dislike. It is like that. The first one is saha nau avatu. This raksha, saha nau avatu means rakshatu, protect. But it is not ordinary protection. Protection is there. Protection we may ask for. But when we are trying to absorb the Upanishadic knowledge, the protection needed is for our mind, intelligence and ego, so that it can become fit to absorb the knowledge, because this is the ultimate protector of everybody. Vairagya, or the universality, is the ultimate protector for everybody. So when we are asking for protection, means may our intelligence, mind, everything become fully alert and efficient to absorb this knowledge. Sahanu bhunaktu, nourishment. What is the nourishment? These thoughts are the nourishment. But may we all be nourished with these noble thoughts, with these universal thoughts, so that our mind expands and we are able to be aware of our real identity, which is a sky-like or spatial in dimension. Then I have already said, Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinau Adhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Now, we are supposed to deal with Sadhana Chatushtaya. That means the fourfold qualities. Whenever we say fourfold, it means they are not isolated. It means they are four aspects of the same thing. That is, one is interrelated to the other. In our spirituality, mostly these things are all interrelated to each other. That one quality, this is say impersonality, but I will remain selfish in my behavior. Then impersonality will not come. Vairagya will not dawn. So everything is related here. We can think that in nature, when we are born with two tendencies. One is to just, whatever natural forces are there, to live according to that, as all the animals, birds, they are doing. Whenever you feel hungry, whatever you eat, you eat. When you see somebody is eating from your share, you fight with that, or whatever. That it is all by the senses, led by the senses, and by following the senses, whatever the mind thinks, where I will get joy, and intelligence tells the mind that you can fulfill yourself by this or like that. It's all a natural downflowing tendency. Downflowing means flowing according to the sense attraction, repulsion, the mind's attraction and repulsion. This is the natural tendency everybody is born with. But in nature, at least human beings, we don't know very good about others. They also may have to some extent. We find in some animals also certain things are there which are much better than human beings. But whether this kind of a Viveka intelligence which we say is there or not, we don't know. That which are our discrimination, etc. That human beings are blessed with. So when we are born, we have been given another reality deep within us, which always tells us where lies our ultimate good, where lies our ultimate auspicious goal, which we call Shreyas. Shreyas means ultimate auspicious goal. Whereas the other one, in opposition to Shreyas, is Preyas. That means whatever the senses like, whatever the mind likes, whatever we want to enjoy normally with the sense enjoyment, mind enjoyment, we are giving like that. So that is called Preyas. So these two, Shreyas and Preyas, tendency towards Preyas and tendency towards Shreyas, both are there in perhaps all human beings. Perhaps no, it is. Why the Shreyas is there? Because in reality, we are that. Although we don't know, when we discover our real identity, the Atma, we find that it is not divided by anything at all. It is transcendental. It is beyond all division. So there is no question of selfishness or competition or greed or even raga dvesha. Nothing is there. That is the truth. So that we know in the last discovery. But even without discovering also, it is a fact that that is our real identity. So that reality, it is having its voice, but we generally don't heed that voice. That is, whenever we are doing something led by our greed and competition and all, even doing wrong things, everybody will know that there is something inside which is telling us, no, this is not right, this is not right. Is it not so? And that is why when we do something wrong, we feel weak inside, small inside, heavy, our mind becomes heavy inside. Although maybe it is giving us much more power, much more property, much more fame, anything can come. Worldly level, anything can come. But in the inmost level, it is making us weak, it is making us heavy. So, this voice which is always guiding us, always telling us that where lies our ultimate strength, ultimate happiness, ultimate auspicious goal, this we generally don't heed. We avoid it because we are overwhelmed by the likes and dislikes of our indriyas, likes and dislikes of our senses, likes and dislikes of our mind, which is again guided by the senses also. So we are not listening to it. So the whole spiritual sadhana is to take us to a life where we will attain a permanence, not the usual always fluctuating between something I felt that this will make me happy, I did it but then I became unhappy, or I got something, I became happy, then when we lose it, we become unhappy. It constantly goes on throughout the day, throughout life. Is there not anything permanent happiness then? May not be like the happiness we generally have, but whatever it is by which we will become fulfilled. That question will be there always. Suppose, as Bhagavad Gita analyzes our life, that everybody, whatever he is doing, the last result the last goal one is looking for is happiness. There's no doubt about it. You can think about it. Whatever we do, I am opening a factory to produce something, to have some money. If I become rich, then I will look after my people well. If I am looking after them well, then they will become happy. So what? No, when they become happy, I will become happy. Everywhere the last is I will become happy. But Bhagavad Gita points out that this I will become happy, we are pinning to something, gaining something from the world. And gaining something, anything from the world will never make us permanently happy. We think that we will become happy. What I am saying is that it is the abhava bodha, the sense of insufficiency in us, which makes us run after things which we think that it will make us happy. But we don't look around and really find out that has anybody become happy by gaining any of these things, riches, fame, property, or love from others. Any of these, whatever we can gain from the world, has anybody become happy? This vichara, this analysis we don't do. We defer it and go ahead. The spirituality is actually to go to the last point with whatever rationality, whatever intelligence we have, and come to a final decision and follow that decision. Not decision, a resolve. Come to a resolve and follow that resolve. So the fundamental thing is these two tendencies. One is always pulling us, making us slave to the worldly attraction and repulsion, to remember clearly. Another force is there drawing us within and saying that there we won't become fulfilled, but I want to go something beyond everything where I will become permanently happy and I won't have this agitation and affectation from anything happening in the world. I will be able to remain stable there. So these forces go on fighting with, tug of war between the two. That is our life. And spirituality is to enhance this indrawing force more and more, which will give us clarity and resolution in life, and we will be able to attain some permanence in life, the permanent fulfillment, as we say. This Sadhana Chatushtaya or fourfold qualities are only to enhance this inward guidance. That is called Sadhana Chatushtaya. In a nutshell, the qualities are defined. We will go into it. That is to strengthen this winning over force. That is, we are slave to the worldly attraction and repulsion. It is not because of the world. It is because of our raga dvesha, because of our clinging to what I like and clinging to and hating what I dislike. The world will always, their likes and dislike always will be there. Any good person people will like, any criminal people may have a dislike. But it is our hatred towards the criminals, it is our greed for whatever we like, that is creating the trouble. So raga dvesha means clinging to what we like and hating what we dislike. So one force is making us slave to the world by undergoing the raga dvesha. There is nothing wrong in the world. It is the wrong is with our raga dvesha, that our clinging to what we like and our hating what we dislike. That is our mind's problem, and we have to solve it. World is whatever it is. Even for a knower, the world remains whatever it is, but it doesn't disturb him. On the other hand, it is the inmost journey which will take us transcending all this raga dvesha and give us a stable position. Now the Sadhana Chatushtaya means fourfold. It is called Viveka, Vairagya, damaadi, Shatka Sampattih. I will explain. Then Mumuksha. The first four divisions are Viveka, Vairagya, 6 treasures, Shatka Sampattih. Generally it is called damaadi, Shatka Sampattih. It is longer, we need not write. You can make it as Shatka Sampattih, the 6-fold treasure. Then Mumuksha. Now in the 4 qualities that Third one is again a conglomeration of 6 kind of treasure. Sampattihi means treasure. Now in spirituality, treasure means it is nothing to do with the outer treasure, but making the outer treasure absolutely meaningless. All the treasures it talks about is inner treasure. So Shama Damaadi Shatka Sampattih means 6 kind of inner treasure we can make ourselves filled with. So then comes Mumuksha, that is yearning for liberation. We generally say that right in the beginning, yearning for liberation. Truly speaking, if you look into our mind, nobody wants liberation. Everybody wants to enjoy. Who will want liberation? Say, I don't want to get born again in mother's womb, from mother's womb and all. These are all Vaka, what do you call it? Vaka, Bahulya. Just said without understanding the meaning. You ask him to die, will he be ready to die? But he will say no. If you don't want to get born again, means you are not enjoying the world, is it not? But even if you are 100 years old, you will like to enjoy further, like Jajati, even 1000 years also. Until the mind becomes fulfilled, we will like to enjoy. Because of lack of fulfillment, we always look for further enjoyment. If the mind becomes fulfilled at the age of 10 also, he will not be attracted by the world. He will live in whatever manner it is possible. So, this 6-fold inner treasure, and finally all these 3 together will lead us to a real yearning for liberation. Mumuksha or mumukshatvam, both are same. So normally Viveka in the Shastras you will find it is defined as Nitya Vastu Viveka. Don't get scared, I am not going to deal with that high concept or so, but I am telling that this is what you will find in Vivekachudamani. It is called Nitya, Anitya, Vastu means the truth, Viveka. What is Nitya? Nitya means permanent and Anitya means futile. So what is permanent and what is temporary, futile, transient? To have discrimination between the two is called Viveka. Actually Viveka is part of it is an aspect of the Buddhi. It is not a different quality at all. When the Buddhi is slave to the worldly attraction repulsion, we call that Buddhi as Vishaya Buddhi, which all of us have. How to earn more money, how to get a promotion defeating others, how not to lose anything I have. All these are Vishaya Buddhi. They are all intelligent. How to learn a certain thing, going to which school, where should I study for gaining this knowledge. All these are Buddhi. But they are all for worldly gains. They are meant for gaining something from the external world, either gross or subtle, whatever. These are all called Vishaya Buddhi. That means Buddhi is always trying to help us in gaining what we want from the world. Then it is called Vishaya. Vishaya means the world objects. It can be situation also, both. The other Buddhi is called Viveka Buddhi. That is when same Buddhi is reversed and anchored into the inmost identity. This Buddhi is slave to the world, helping the mind to enjoy, helping the senses to enjoy. So it is always following the senses. The mind is following the senses are following the world by the attraction and repulsion. Mind is following the senses. The Buddhi is helping the mind to have its own gain. So Buddhi is also slave to the worldly attraction and repulsion. The whole leadership is on the world. The world is determining our behavior. We are sometimes getting agitated, saying something is wrong, sometimes getting attracted, sometimes we are greedy, sometimes we are hateful. All these are controlled by actually not by the world, by our raga dvesha, but apparently it is controlled by the world. The world is controlling the senses, the mind, and through that the Buddhi also. Now, what in spirituality we are trying to do is turn the Buddhi towards our inmost reality, which is always there, which is always saying where lies the ultimate goal. Our Kathopanishad gives a beautiful example, that chariot example which we generally show a slide also, that normally the horses are there like our 5 indriyas, then it's a chariot where 5 horses are there, our 5 sense organs. Then the rein is compared to the mind, which is connected to the sense organs, because without the link of the mind, the senses cannot enjoy anything, is it not? Always the mind has to determine that what it wants to do, it has to give its support. Now, the rein is held by the charioteer, that is the buddhi, where the mind should go, which way the mind should go, the buddhi is supposed to guide it. So charioteer is holding the rein, but what will the charioteer do normally? If the chariot has to reach a certain goal, will not the charioteer first ask the master of the chariot, the Malik, that, sir, where do you want to go? Forget about charioteer. In a car also, the driver, every time you sit, the driver will take it wherever he wants, to the market or to the forest. It's not like that. The driver will ask, sir, where should I take the car? Where do you want to go? So our buddhi is never asking, our charioteer buddhi is never asking the inmost level that where should I take, where should I go? It is normally asking the senses, where do you like to go? Like the wheels and the engine of the car, it is asking, where would you like to go? I will take you there. So the whole spirituality is to reverse that and make the buddhi always ask the inmost level, where do you want to go? And the inmost level is such a fool and zero and whatnot that it doesn't have to say anything. Everybody knows where to go, because it's a transcendental, universal level where there is no division, no color, nothing. So the charioteer becoming anchored in the inmost reality means the charioteer will no more be guided by the raga dvesha of the senses, that it's clinging to what it likes and hating what I dislike, which is now guided by that. Now, when we say that the Viveka means Nitya Vastu Viveka, that means it is a discrimination between Nitya and Anitya, between permanent and transient or temporary, futile. It means that Nitya is only the Atma, our real identity, and all other things, the whole objectitude, the whole universe, the creation, everything is Anitya, because the way creation is from the very basis of creation is changefulness. That is why it is called Jagat, it is called Samsara. Samyak sarati iti samsara. Gacchati iti Jagat. Because unless there is a change, there is no activity. Activity means change. The whole creation is an activity. It's a generation. So it means change. It is starting from a point, changing, and finally getting to destruction. But actually that is also a little illusory, because it is not only the beginning point is the birth and the ultimate point is the death. Actually birth and death is a continuous process, that every moment the cause is dying and the effect is getting born. Even in our body, how many millions of cells are dying every day and new cells are getting born? So it is any cause. Suppose even when we burn the book will die and the ash will be born. If we push the table, the previous position of the table will not be there, another new position will be generated. Everywhere this cause and effect chain means the death of the cause and the birth of the effect. This is what is meant by the world, that it will always undergo this kind of a transformation. So the very basis of creation is changefulness. So everything that we see, not only the gross object, the subtle objects also. Initially when we say that everything is changeful, we think of the world, the property and whatnot, all those things. But it is not so. Look into our inside. The thoughts are also like that. Every moment it is coming and going, coming and going. It's most changeful. Even the emotions, if you think of, sukha, dukkha and anything else, they are constantly changing. And there also cause and effect is there. As in the sea, the waves, The wave at the present time is an effect of millions of waves in the previous second or previous moment. Everything is giving rise to the present. The past is giving rise to the present is giving rise to the future. Every moment of time, not moment means any small bit of time you can think of. It's a cause and effect chain is going on. So you cannot think of anything immortal, unchanging, nitya, imperishable in the objectitude, whole objectitude, in the whole universe. We cannot think of anything. There cannot be. Even the subtle objects like mind and intelligence and all, everything, whatever is product of nature, nature means changefulness. So then what can be the changeless? Anything. In the nature, we are not considering the real fundamental substratum on which the whole nature, the universe is appearing to be. That is what we call the Atma or the soul. That is our real identity, the consciousness, we can say, for simplicity. Unless anything appears in our consciousness, we will not know it. Even a molecule to know, it has to appear in our consciousness. That it is a camera, it has to appear in the consciousness. And what we are really knowing is what is appearing in the consciousness. Including the whole world, our body-mind personality also as external object will have to appear in the consciousness, that this is what I am calling my body-mind personality, which is seeing this world. The whole thing has to appear in the consciousness. That consciousness, as we are saying, there will always be a limitation in this terminology because it is inexpressible. It is beyond the duality of our usual nature. So that is the only nitya. Now the whole Viveka process, nitya and anitya means we have to understand what is anitya and what is nitya. As just now I was explaining, the whole world is anitya. Whole creation is anitya, and what is nitya. Throughout life we are thinking that my body has undergone change, mind has undergone change, the buddhi has undergone change. Even half an hour back also they were not the same, or even a minute before also they were not the same. Every thought coming, the mind is changing. So everything has undergone change. Then who is knowing all these changes? If mind is what I am, then it will not be I am knowing my mind. That means mind is an object before the knower. So this knowledge, which is this knower of everything, is unchanged. What we refer to as I, even in our personal I also, individual I also, when we think about our I, that I has not undergone change from childhood, birth to even now. The body, mind, emotions, everything have changed. But the problem is that I, we are mixing with our mind and body and thinking that I am happy, I am unhappy and all that. So there also we have to apply our discrimination to find out what is really changeful there and what is unchangeful there. To identify the real unchanging I. In Shastras they call it like taking out the kernel from the sheath, from the husk of the rice. That is, it's all joined together. We have to somehow isolate the I part of it from there. Or what is it that is knowing everything? Just if you think inside, you will be able to somewhat identify that the I, the thoughts are coming and going. The thoughts sometimes may completely go. We are not able to know because we fall asleep. But in a wakeful state, if you can remove all the thoughts, you will find that I is still like a headlight, it is burning still, radiating still. If you cannot do also, if you just see the thoughts, who is knowing the thoughts? That knowing consciousness, it doesn't undergo any change also. The thoughts are just passing back. We generally call it Sakshi Bhava and all. Anybody can experiment that. Things are moving, passing by. But the I remains still, but still radiating. Like a lamp, as Bhagavad Gita says, that where there is no breeze, the flame of the lamp, it does not move at all. There is no oscillation, nothing. But is it not radiating? The radiation is still there. Like that, if you can go into the mind, we can find out that no thought, nothing is there, nothing is moving, no change anywhere is there. But that radiation which makes us know, makes us aware, that awareness, we will come to know that. That is why they said, Yatha Deepo Nivatastha Nengate Sopama Smrita Yogino Yata Chittasya Yunyate Yogam Atmanaha. Atmana Yogam Yunyate. So, it starts like that. That Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. But in Shastras you will find this Viveka has been discussed in with various models. For example, one is called Atma Anatma Viveka. Atma Anatma. But what is Atma and what is Anatma? Just now as I was saying that what is that I? No, I am not the mind, I am the knower of the mind. I am not the emotion, I am the knower of the emotion. I am not intelligence, the intelligence was sharp, now it is dull, or now it is sharp, it was dull. All these changes I am knowing, so I am the knower of the intelligence. So, that I part which is revealing everything, which is knowing everything, that is the I, and whatever it is seeing, whatever is object before it, is the Anatma. So, you can go in any manner. Like that, there is something called Prakriti Purusha Viveka. That means the conscious part is called Purusha, and the entire nature, everything is called Prakriti. So the whole Prakriti is dancing on the substratum of the consciousness. So if the consciousness is not there, there is no question of Prakriti, does not exist, because it is apparently floating on that. Just like a cinema, without the light, the film will not be there. The whole activities of a film, whatever we are seeing, the tremendous war is going on, people are crying, dying and whatnot. But everything, it's just a play of light. You switch off the projector, the whole thing is gone. It is like that the whole play is taking place in the consciousness. So that is the Purusha and the play is the Prakriti. Now, suppose the Prakriti is not there, then what is the meaning of the Purusha? It will not have any manifestation. The whole manifestation as anything is the Prakriti. Without that there is no division, no duality, nothing. So without the Purusha, Prakriti cannot be there. Without the Prakriti, Purusha will not be manifest at all. We cannot speak about it also. The speaking also is within the Prakriti, everything. So this kind of different kinds of logic, Viveka means logic, this different kind, it is called Prakriti Purusha Viveka. Similarly, we have, say, Nitya Nitya, Prakriti Purusha, then subject object, that is Vishaya Vishayi. Vishayi means the revealer, the knower, and Vishaya means the object. Then Chit Jada Viveka. Chit Jada. Now, Chit means the consciousness. And whatever is appearing in the consciousness, with the consciousness is knowing, is called Jada, inert. Now, if we compare with our normal natural science definition, then we will be a little confused. What is it? In science, we call whatever cannot move by itself is Jada, and which has life and it can move, we call it the Chetana. Science mein kya bolte? Conscious. We call our body as conscious and the table as unconscious. It's a Jada, it's inert. Inert is the word. Now here, only the Chit is the ultimate consciousness, and we are segregating all other things, we are segregating the Chit part of it, and it is an appearance in the Chit. So everything else is Jada. Jada means object. Subject is only the subject, the revealer of everything, which we say I, but in the absence of the individual body level difference, that I also will become meaningless. I don't want to confuse you too much now. We'll slowly come over that. But actually, that Chit, it is imperishable, unaffected, unchanging. What does it mean? Can it move? There is no question of movement because you cannot see it as an object before you. Chit, the consciousness, you cannot see as it different from yourself. If something has to move or change, you have to note that as I am knowing it is changing, it was like this, it is like this. No movement can be thought of even in the chit. So, in science we saying that which does not move, does not change is the jada. Here, chit is the only thing which does not change. All other things are changeful and they are called jada. The chit is the only thing which does not undergo any change at all. It is absolutely true, but we can see the contrast, and which creates problem for our buddhi to understand the things. That we think that Atma is something conscious, so it will move from here to there. One day I will discover this is the Atma and this is God. All those things are illusory, that they have to be corrected to get established in the truth. So this Viveka is extremely important to differentiate between truth and untruth, so to say, whatever is the permanently true and whatever is not. As I said that Tejasvinau adhitamastu, that the whole subject of spirituality, unless we live it, it has no meaning. It has to be applied in life. So here it means that Viveka is discrimination. Now, whatever I have discussed so far, a scientist will be able to understand or even analyze it much better than me also. They will be able to have that kind of a discrimination. The English name for Viveka we use is discrimination. Now, it is not just discrimination. Suppose you discriminate between Nitya and Anitya, Chit and Jada, Atma and Anatma, or Shreyas and Preyas, all these things. But after discriminating and knowing what is Nitya, I follow the Anitya. I follow the Preyas. After knowing Shreyas and Preyas also, I follow the Preyas. Then we won't call it Viveka. That means your goal is to identify with your real identity. And knowing what is taking me to my real identity also, I don't follow that path. Then we won't call it Viveka. So it will not bring in the further changes. That is why people say that Swamiji, Viveka to hai, samajh gaya sab kuch, lekin Vairagya to nahi aa raha hai. You understand? I have Viveka, I understand what you say, but I am not having Vairagya, which the Shastra says that Viveka should followed with Vairagya. The reason is that the Viveka, until it is applied in life, that in life whatever we are doing, if we are not aware, we are not focused on that ultimate truth or so, we are always remaining slave to the worldly attraction and repulsion. We are not anchoring our buddhi to the inmost reality. Then we won't call it Viveka. It might be discrimination in English still, but in our Shastras that won't be called Viveka. So Shastras will say that if you have real Viveka, it must give rise to Vairagya. Vairagya will come, but it must lead to the further progression of the other qualities. If the second quality is not resulting from the practice of Viveka, from the practice of the first quality, that means that you have not practiced, you have not applied that to your life. That is why Vairagya is not coming. So this is a very significant difference in calling it discrimination. We forget that it is only a play of the intelligence. No. The intelligence has to be followed by the mind. It has to be followed by the senses. All should follow the buddhi when the buddhi is anchored in the soul. Now, generally, rather than saying Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, Atma Anatma Viveka, etc., people may not, particularly in beginning stage, we may not be able to identify with the sadhana. So, we have to define the Viveka in the initial stage of sadhana also. That generally we do by saying that it is discriminating between Shreyas and Preyas. For any ordinary who may not be even spiritual, who want a good life to be led, it is a discrimination between Shreyas and Preyas. That is also Viveka. This Viveka itself will become Nitya Nitya when the Shreyas is finally going to the Nitya and the Preyas will be all the Anitya. So there is no difference, but it makes it more practical for any practitioner when we say Shreyas and Preyas. What is Shreyas and Preyas? In many places it has been discussed, but in Kathopanishad it is discussed in very Mundakopanishad also in a way. No. So Kathopanishad says that always in our life, every moment, nature comes with two baskets. Every moment. Shreyas and Preyas. And it is our willpower, it is our intelligence and will have to choose, I want Shreyas or I want Preyas. You cannot say, oh, it is my fate, so I go this way. Our Shastras do not approve of this kind of a fate. They say that fate might be there. Daivam jatra panjamam. As a fifth factor, fate is there, nobody can say. You do many things, but suddenly a calamity comes and it takes away everything, or you die, or so many things can happen by the Daiva, fate. That is okay. But you cannot say that what will be my step in life. It is by fate or karma also people use it for that. It is your decision, your will, which will determine which path you are going to take. See how things become completely distorted. This karma actually means causality, nothing else. Karma theory, which is particularly in Sankhya philosophy, and here also everywhere, karma means the causal chain, cause and effect chain. That anything you do, it will have its effect. Now the gross things we can link causally easily. Suppose I hit with a weapon here, the table breaks. You can easily say that the cause of breaking is my hit. You can relate. Or suppose you walked and you reached here, so you can say the causality you know that I got up and I took the car and reached here, and that is how. These are all simple causality, gross causality. If you eat food, your hunger will be satiated. If it is not satiated, you will doubt the food, that what is happening for 1 hour I am eating, nothing has gone. So these causalities are very gross causality, but there are many levels of subtle causality which we know but we are not aware of always. Suppose mentally I am suffering, the cause is something I have done earlier, is it not? Often it happens with the very common is with the parents. Suppose just very old father wanted sweets to be taken. Such an old person now suffering from diabetes, and he is wanting to take rasgulla. You ignore that, and the next day the father dies. Then you start repenting that what was the harm if you had given him some sweet. He is in any case going to die very soon, so we should have fulfilled his wishes. All these things have many other things also. You can think yourself that so many places we behave in the manner which becomes a punishing to our mind later on. Sometimes we may have done something very wrong also, which will also not leave our mind. Those things remain in a very subtle manner. We don't know why am I suffering, The astrologer will have to tell you that you did something or you did something. Then you find out that I did something wrong. So these are subtle causality of the mind. There are various things like that, of different subtler and subtler levels. Behavior wise, we have the story that the mother had died and the mausi, that is mother's sister, was bringing up the son with the boy, and she was so fond that she gave all the license, all the over fondness and the indulgence to the boy. He became a criminal and he started doing all sorts of criminal practices and all. Finally he was caught quite a few times. Finally he was given capital punishment, that he will be hanged. So before that they always ask that, do you have any wish? Before the hanging they will ask, do you have any wish? He said, yes, I want to see my Mausi, my mother's sister, aunt, from a close quarter. So the Mausi was brought, he came close to the cell, and that boy called his Mausi that, come near, I have to tell you something whisperingly, a secret. So Mausi came near that boy cut her ear and took it, chopped off her ear with the teeth. Nobody knew, everybody got so much. Mausi herself was very much surprised. He said, this is the punishment, this is the reward for whatever you have given me. That you have given so much of indulgence, never you corrected me, and I have become like this. And this is the reward for that. Now, this is a very, maybe true, maybe it can be true also, it might be true. But there are some very, very subtle, we all do this. We spoil our children, if not children, we spoil our grandchildren. And then that will have the series of effects. We are not doing everything for thinking of their welfare. We love, we give so much of fondling and all, it is because we like to do it, not because they need it so much. So who will keep that balance, that we will do everything for the benefit of the child, not to give indulgence, or because I just want to have the happiness of giving indulgence. In most of the cases it is like that. We want, that is why, we want to have the fulfillment of petting somebody. Even for the animals, mostly it is done in our ashram, it is a constant problem. The cats are there, nobody will like to take the responsibility of the kittens. But everybody will fondle so much that the kitten will get spoiled and it will get into the kitchen or annakshetra. And then they will start even kicking. What has happened? Isko chhod do, bazaar mein jaake chhod do, it should be left in the market and all. Arey, why did you do like this? We had at one time maximum number of kittens were 17 in our ashram. Or even more perhaps, 17 kittens, and they were all having their maternity home on my bed. My bed के ऊपर एक loft था, वहाँ पे सब birth भी होता था, grow भी करता था, कभी कभी गिरता भी था. But they have never entered the kitchen. They have never entered the kitchen. We would give them food before we start our food. Certain disciplines are there so that they don't try to get into the annakshetra at all. And some other things. We will not unnecessarily pet them also. Now here, even if one kitten or one cat is there, oh, what is that? Renuka, Renuka. That the call, if you hear, then itself we will know that it's going to be spoiled. No doubt about it. Beautiful name will be given, and he will call with all the sudha, all the honey flowing with the voice. And then when it becomes naughty, then you cannot withstand anything. It will start even spoiling the chair, sitting on the chair and passing stool, all these things will happen. So, everything is causal. What I am saying is that karma means this causality. We don't know that, we are not aware of this causality. It is the Upanishads says very emphatically that don't leave it on fate. There is nothing called fate. In Ramayana, that is Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana, in the second section, Vasishtha Deva is saying that raising my two hands, I am shouting that there is nothing called fate, nothing called fate, it is only Paurusha. Paurusha means our willpower, our will. It is only will which is determining our life, our success, failure, and our ultimate emancipation. There is nothing called fate, but there is not a single person to listen to me. Vasishtha Deva is saying in Ramarajya time, there is nobody to listen to me. That it is not fate, it is our willpower. We have to take the resolve that which step we are going to take. That depends on our own decision. You can say that, oh, what decision I will take is also controlled by something. Yes, that might be, but as long as you think that I am doing something, I have done something, I have to do something, I have to take a decision, As long as you think that I have to, you have your will and you have to be responsible for your will. So all the decisions are yours. You have to decide every moment of life, choose the Shreyas or choose the prayers. Saying that, he is saying that, Kathopanishad is saying that there are two kinds of people, Dhiraha and Mandaha. The Dhiraha means whose intelligence is active and who always uses his intelligence in the favorable manner, which will be favorable to him, which will take you to the ultimate auspicious goal. And Manda is who will go the other way, as I said, the nature's ways, always slave to the worldly things and all. So he said that a Dhira will always, whenever any moment, any crossroad is there, he will think about, analyze the pros and cons very well. And doing that, he will always follow the Shreyas. He will choose the Shreyas in preference to prayers and he will follow the Shreyas. Whereas a Manda, he will not think so much going around and all. He will be guided by his Yoga Kshema is the word. That is what I can gain from the world and what I can have, the possessiveness, that I can retain my whatever I possess. He will choose according to that. And accordingly their life will be proceeding to two different paths, along the two different paths. So this karma is actually, the karma theory is meant to make us responsible for anything happening in our life. It is not to take the escapism that something has happened, oh my karma. See how we use it in the reverse manner. Karma theory model is meant for making us responsible for anything that is happening in our life. There will be some small Daiva element that is different. But whatever is happening, I am responsible for that. It is not to, we use the karma that I am not responsible, it is my karma. Absolute contradiction, ulta. Karma is meant to make you responsible. That is why they have conceived of the Punarjanma and heaven and hell and all. Because you are not able to explain anything from the direct perception. I am very honest, I am very good, but I am suffering. But my friend is dishonest and he is flourishing in all money and everything. Where is the justice then? So to pacify him, he will say, the Shastras, the religious Shastras, they will say that, oh, you don't know. You had done something wrong in the previous birth, previous life. And that is why you are now suffering. But now that you are doing good, be consoled that the next life he will be having a very good life, this, that, and whatever he wanted. Whereas the other person, he had done something good in the previous life, and now because of that he is having a property and everything safe. But you don't know that after death he will go to a hell where he will be fried in hot oil, or all pins will prick. There are 600 narakas are described. So it will be like that. What they are doing, they are, by that, whether Swarga and Naraka there or not, nobody can say. Because it neither can be proved nor can be disproved. Can you disprove that there is Swarga? Disprove? No. Can you prove? No. It cannot be proved, it cannot be disproved. So they take those as the and in terms of them, they link the causality. By that, what are they going to do? They are only making you good. That now you do good. In spite of all that you are thinking, you do good and next it will be good. By that, what is happening? They are forcing you to remain good. So the whole religious, all these models, they are meant for the bridling the society, taking them on an auspicious path by some models which cannot be proved or disproved, and with other rationality. Similarly, the other person who is not doing good now, it is restricting him from doing wrong things. Because you think that now you do the wrong and you are enjoying it, but in the after death you will be suffering like this. So that will take him away from the wrong path and make him do the good. That is the idea. So all these things are part of the karma. Karma means causality basically. So these links we are not able to always work out and understand because of their subtle nature, and we are not going into the mind so well about it. So that Viveka is every point of life it will tell you that what you should do at that time. And if you have followed Viveka, then never look back and say that I did something wrong, I should have done like this, like that. At that point, whatever was the situation, you have thought about it well to the best of your possibility. You have applied your Viveka well. You have not taken the decision on the basis of any other worldly attraction or repulsion. That is the crux of the matter here. That the decision you took earlier was based on your Viveka Buddhi, not on any other attraction, repulsion from the world. That means that was the right decision of that. That may result in some good, some bad, anything can happen. But this will give you the confidence that even if it is bad, that was the best decision I could take at that time, and you can follow that. And you accept whatever has come. So it gives a very clear-cut life where you don't have to repent at all. And you don't imagine things also. Whatever is going to happen in future, you take it on the basis of your Viveka. That this is the right path I am taking. That may result in some loss of money or loss of property or gain of money or gain of property. Whatever happens, I am going to accept it. So the people do not have the clarity of decision making is because of lack of Viveka. That is, when we are taking the decision, so many points of the worldly gains and losses will affect our decision making. Recently it happened that one small child died. 6 months, no? 6 months or so. Daughter died. Had some problem with the heart and all. So she was taken to one good doctor. He suggested some surgery to be done. Everybody suggested that you take a second opinion. So they went to another good doctor. That doctor felt that she is fine. She is absolutely fine in her everything. Whatever little trouble is that from the heart to the lung something. You remember that? Some valve problem was there. With age it is often said, right, let us not go for surgery because it's not going to be an easy surgery also. It's very difficult at that time. Let us not take that risk. We will see after some time, but regularly get it checked every 3 months or so. You get it checked and take caution enough. We can see how it progresses and all. It so happened that suddenly one day while suckling or while taking milk, the baby became blue. Absolutely. And by the time they took to the hospital, died, passed away. Now everybody started saying that why did you not listen to the first doctor and got it operated? Suppose you had sent for the operation and the child died on the operation table, then everybody would have told you that such a smiling, playing girl, you suddenly sent to the OT and brought back dead. The blame would have been more. That you have taken a second opinion, that is fine. And he was also equally or even more qualified doctor, and he suggested something, you have listened to that. So in any case, it has happened. And if from the operation table, if just you as the playing, smiling child you have sent to the OT and you haven't got back, the mother would have died out of shock. So it is a clear decision we have to take on the basis of whatever is available with us. Beyond that we cannot say anything. Now it is a karma of the child also that born with something, some defect which had this, and which might have resulted in this, might have resulted in this. What would have happened if she were to taken to the operation theatre? We don't know that. And if you link it further, the karma might be in the previous generation. Why the child was born like this, nobody knows. What was done during pregnancy? Was she given steroid? And all doctors will have different opinion. Psychologists will have another opinion, and spiritualists will have another opinion. How was the life she was leading? She is a closed up person. Mind is absolutely self-centered. So many times it was told, you do some chanting and all by which the mind will expand and all. She is not ready to listen to anything. She is not ready to listen to even go to a satsang or anybody, even see a saint also. She is not ready. And given to extreme self-centeredness, so that when the child died, she asked all the relatives not to come. Because she wanted to bear the, whatever is it, trauma, whatever sorrow or so. The relatives will come and say so many things, I don't want to face all that. So even her own father perhaps wanted to come, but did not come and see them, but remained in another house nearby to, if any support is necessary, they will give. So much of self-centeredness. Self-centeredness means it is a constriction. You feel when your mind is very, very closed up, constricted, you will find that all your organs will undergo a stress and tension. This is a spiritualist opinion. I am not saying that I am right, but I can feel it. The moment your mind becomes liberal and open and vast, you will find that you feel that expansion everywhere in your organs also. So during pregnancy, that is why there are so many rituals to be done, and we always particularly say that do always remain smiling, read such things so that your mind always remains happy. Don't bring in other thoughts during that time about your mother-in-law or this or that or so. Don't. About anything that puts your mind into stress. This stress may affect. It might not have happened. Suppose she was saved also, but suppose something else is happened in the mind, which will become a much more pathetic throughout life. Suppose one is, when he is sent to the hospital, we want somehow to survive. After survival, if the person comes back with lot of some defects like that, brain dead or some portion has gone or so, is it a recommended life? But it is all karma. We don't take such decisions. People find it very, किसी भी तरह खिला दो उसको, मानने वाले हैं, नहीं क्यों नहीं राइस ट्यूब लगाया, और तो 5 दिन बच जाएगा, और तो 1 महीना बच जाएगा. Why should it live like that for another 1 month? By that what is gain? That person also is suffering and you are extending the suffering further. But we won't be able to take decisions because of social structure and this and that, and so many things we will bring in. The Viveka doesn't work so well. Its time is over. So tomorrow we will take up again this, and particularly the Vairagya aspect. And some shlokas also can be done. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhaswarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam sada nitya bodhaswarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi.